Now this house behind me, believe it or not, cost me a whooping $0. Yes, you heard it, $0. And today I'm going to share how I pulled this off. But let me cut to the chase. This is not a story of no money down, joint ventures, or some obscure creative real estate investment strategy. Nor did I get this house through an auction or some inheritance or got a big wad of down payment from my parents. It's all about investing with a fixed budget and making the smart decisions at the right time. But let's rewind a bit. Let's head back to when I purchased this house. Now, I bought this 3-bedroom home, a starter home, for $292,000. And here's the kicker. I only put 5% down. Why so little? Because when you move into a home, you could put as little as 5% down. And my philosophy is put as little down as humanly possible. Because in real estate, the name of the game is leverage. That means I love buying a home where banks will finance the majority of the investment. So I could buy an asset worth hundreds of thousands of dollars with only 5% down. I'll take that any day. But there was one problem. I want to raise a family and not exhaust my savings. And kids are expensive, especially if you're having twins. So I was really concerned with having my mortgage payment plus my kids' nanny costs draining my savings month after month. So I decided to buy a home with an income suite. So the day I moved in, weeks later, I shared this space with a tenant. Yes, living with a tenant. It might sound crazy, but this tenant paid 50% of my mortgage, which significantly reduced my costs and allowed me to not worry about my expenses. Now let's talk about the fun part. Renovations. Now, this property wasn't exactly a stunner. In fact, it was kind of ugly inside. The carpets had pee stains from the dogs living in the home. The stains were all disgusting. And as they say, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And I saw potential. I saw through the stinkiness of all that dog pee. And most importantly, I saw that the house next door was worth $330,000. Remember, I bought the house for $292,000. Now, you're probably asking, why is a neighbor able to sell their home for $330,000? What's wrong with your home? That's a great question. You see, the house next door didn't have stinky pee smells, didn't look but ugly inside, so is able to sell for $330,000. But then I got into the issue of a money crunch. See, these renovations are very, very costly. So guess what? My husband and I did a lot of sweat equity. We personally renovated this home for a few years, changing the carpets, breaking down the tile, painting the home, installing carpets on the stairs, which is pretty tricky, and painting the entire kitchen cupboards. And every dollar I was making at that time was being poured into my home. And then once my twins were born, well, I made a big mistake. I got super emotional and poured over $70,000 into renovations. Now, some of it was necessary because it's dangerous to go down the patio stairs from the second floor to the main floor without, falling. And then there are some renovations, it's just to make the home look good, which wasn't really necessary, like giving this home a facelift. Fast forward, I got pretty lucky. I was so busy raising my twins that I had no more time to think about any renovations. And timing-wise, this property was worth over $550,000. Now I had another issue. I needed another car. And typically my savings goes towards buying investment property. And at that time, I wanted to buy one rental property per year, which I did succeed for the first 10 years. So I decided to go to the bank and pull out a line of credit against my home, which is called a home equity line of credit. And I got $180,000. Now, for those who don't know, a home equity line of credit is essentially like a credit card, against your home being your collateral. And that means if you don't pay off your line of credit on time, they can take away your home. But the good news was I essentially got $180,000 cash in hand without needing to sell the home. I used that money at that time to buy 2 other condos in Ottawa, which became investment properties. Now you're probably wondering, what part are you going to tell me how you got this house for $0? When is that coming? Don't worry, I got you. It's coming soon. Now, during this time, I had a pain in the butt property. It was a 3-unit investment property. Didn't have the greatest tenants. And because my husband and I were so busy raising our twins, and we had a property manager for this 3-unit triplex, we decided it wasn't worth it. We decided to sell the unit, and we got lucky again. This triplex made a significant profit, and I used that money to pay off my $180,000 line of credit against my own home. Now, this is the moment when this house became effectively a $0 home. Now, after getting this chunk of change, my mortgage went down to $50,000. And thanks to my tenant living in my income suite for many, many years and helping me pay off my mortgage, which I'm super grateful for, I decided to make a crazy decision and leave my career as an engineer and a beautiful pension in the government. Yes, I quit my job and left the government and decided to reamortize my mortgage, my own home, for 30 years. So what that meant is I took my remaining mortgage of $50,000 and stretched it out to 30 years. And I decided to refinance my home, which is basically getting cash out of what my home's worth because my home, went up a lot in price and I got $120,000 cash. Now, if you're asking, why on earth would I increase my mortgage? Well, simple. I just wanted my original down payment back. Remember, I paid $70,000 into renovations. I did sweat equity and I put a down payment. So effectively, I got my house again for $0. And I wanted to buy another rental property. And with this very small mortgage, my monthly mortgage payments were $550 per month. And remember, I had a tenant. So essentially, living in that home, I was living for free for many, many years, thanks to my tenant paying off my mortgage. Now, here's the math to show it all. Bought the home for $292,000. I spent over $100,000 in renovations and including my down payment. Over the years, the house was worth $550,000. I decided to refinance the home, pull out the cash, got $120,000 cash in hand, which effectively meant this house costed $0 for me. Now, the theme to this real estate investing strategy is buying an ugly duckling, a fixer-upper home that has a lot of potential and buying it under market value. That is my go-to strategy. And it's worked consistently over the years because I'm a value investor. I like things when they go on sale. No, I know what you're thinking. Tracy, come on, this home didn't cost $0. You had to live with a tenant and you had to sell another home. Now, yes, my journey required patience. It required elbow grease. It required me living with a tenant, essentially sacrificing my privacy. So yes, in the traditional sense, I didn't get this home for $0. But when we talk about the net returns being the equity growth, and my love for house hacking, I essentially got this home for free. I had many years where my tenant essentially paid off every mortgage payment for years. Now, how can you apply this out-of-box thinking real estate investing strategy to your life? It all starts at looking at home and not thinking of it as an emotional buy. Think of it as an investment and seeing the potential. You might find a property that needs work, that needs a little bit elbow grease. Look for cosmetic changes that you can do or you can easily contract out, like changing the carpets, painting, renovating a kitchen, like using IKEA kitchen cupboards, or changing the light fixtures. And if you add an income suite where a tenant could pay off your mortgage, now you have a ton of potential. And when you find this type of property, you got to be the first one to see it and put an offer on it. Of course, in accordance to your budget, because the early bird gets the worm. Remember, it's not about the cost of the home, but about the value. Now, if you want to learn to scale up your real estate investment portfolio, check out these videos out here. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.